Hey, peace and blessings, family. It is Sunday again, and we're back with another conversation on Sunday Sitting with Sisters. I am one of your co-hosts. I'm Rolanda Osunleke. And I'm joined by my blood sister
I'm Sister Khadijah.
Khadijah.
Happy Sunday, everybody out here in Facebook land. Hope you all are having an amazing day. Hey, Elisa.
So, how was
How was your
your
week, sissy?
week? My week was good. I got a lot of work
Words.
done. You know how that go, but I'm very grateful. I love that I'm stretching my wings and reaching other communities and other people that I've never would have reached before. So I'm feeling very grateful. What about you, sis?
I had an awesome week. Preparing for my baby to start his senior year. So, I did a lot of school stuff. School shot. He been in band camp all last week from 9 o'clock to 5 p.m. So, he's still getting his license. He has his permit and everything. So I got to do a lot of driving, but it's cool. But yeah, I had an amazing week. Just looking forward to my baby. It's a bittersweet moment. Happy that he's, progressing and about to grad, start his senior year. But I don't want him to grow up. So, but I had an amazing week. I'm wanting to
That's what's up.
was at one of the schools and met a very nice dean at Sac High. I had to say this brother, I was so impressed with this brother. He was very helpful, very understanding, trying to resolve a situation. And that's good to it was good to be in that meeting and see a black man care about the black kids the way he do. So I thought that was awesome.
So let me ask you this. You said you want the sack high. Don't you don't have to go into details, but do you think there is a need in our city for liaison with parents, particularly black parents in school systems?
Absolutely, absolutely, there is a need, and I almost felt as if I was a liaison or almost an interpreter because I was up there with a grandmother, and it's also a age difference and culture difference, um, as well as just not really knowing what your ed codes are and what your rights are at a school. So I definitely think there needs to be someone, and that, that they can feel comfortable with talking to, because believe it or not, school is an institution, and a lot of black people don't like to talk to institutions or people that work in them. That's like going to the county building or going to the police station or going to CPS. So people don't like to think of it that way, but people are sometimes uncomfortable. They get a little flustered talking in front of people they're not comfortable with. But when you sitting in there and there's somebody that look like you and they kind of can feel what you're going through and they can relate and they let you know, it's definitely needed. It's definitely needed. So it was a good meeting. We're not
I'm
done,
glad you
still
had
got
the
work to do, but it was a great start.
I'm very glad you had time to even accompany that elder really.
I'll make
And
time.
'cause, grandmothers still be in there working, and I really love that. I just know that sometimes we don't
Mhm,
always uh really think about how our grandmothers who are still in mothering mode, if you will,
mhm,
that sometimes they need support. And also I think sometimes as black women, sometimes we be showing up to stuff by ourselves because we're the ones taking care of our families.
mhm,
So I thought that was like awesome, and maybe we'll figure out how to do a real segment where we can kind of dive a little deeper in terms of what it is that our community really needs. Like, I'm not trying to be
mhm,
funny. I hear a lot of talk about being excited about, say, politics or whatever, but I don't think we're really taking care of the needs of our community. Like, I get a little perturbed when we'll be talking about the imagery, but we're not taking care of housing, we're not taking care of food security, we're not taking
mhm,
care of security, we're not talking about banking, like the things that we know that's going to basically control our lives. We don't put any time into that, and so I always feel a little bit concerned about that. And I just don't think we really are tuning into that. And then people get mad when you have an ask. But I feel like black people deserve to have a reason of saying no. If you're going to be, wanting my vote or whatever, what will you do for me? And somehow it seems
mhm,
like some black people act like it's a problem when black folks start saying, well, what are you going to do for us? Because people are not
mhm.
used to hearing us ask. Like, we think having one black person somewhere is going to help us here at the ground. Absolutely does nothing.
Mhm.
Absolutely does nothing. So I think one of the things in terms of you meeting with with those principals or whatever, it was just nice to have you there because that is a major concern. Like education
Mhm.
and our kids' safety and the way our kids are seen, that's major. That's why our
And the
stats
way
look the
they
way it looks. So
interact and communicate with each other is it can lead to it oftentimes can lead to death because it gets serious out there just from a simple misunderstanding or just maybe a sit down with both parents and on the principal and just some more structure. It could solve a lot. A lot of stuff started on social media and spills over into the schools, into the streets. But if we had people that were proactive, you know what I'm saying, and been able to be, give them some type of
no,
resources to be able to come and solve some stuff and sit down and get rid of it, it may not spill over to the streets. And so, yeah, it's definitely needed. And I'll make time. I'll make time. I definitely will.
glad you made time for that elder because I just feel like we don't need things to get some of us are waiting for the moment where your kid is dead. Then we all come out in the street and talk about how
Hmm.
much our kids needed us. But meanwhile, you weren't even there when
Hmm.
you were needed. So I don't know. I thank you for that, Sissy. If I ever,
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
know I always say you thank you, but I'm just very grateful because I know that that is something that is terribly needed in our schools. So and with that being said, because you start off in the school, I want to start off. I was trying to, I'm on my desktop completely, so sometimes it's kind of hard to kind of show things like the way I normally make it big
Ooh, wee.
when I'm on my other computer, I can like bring stuff up and make it big or whatever. I don't necessarily have that option on this desktop. Yeah, it'd be acting crazy. So maybe I'll do it this way. Okay, so I'll bring this up and then I just kind of want y'all to take a look at this. This is our first topic, y'all, of the night. I heard that this was fake. Let me just say that. So I heard what I'm getting ready to show y'all was a fake thing, but we did hear some brothers debate on this, which I thought it to be kind of interesting. So it's my first ankle monitor. Now, mind you, there's one with the black kid and then there's one with the white kid. Um, the black kid one was like the black kid face as you see on the screen, and then his ankle monitor, his foot. But the white kid's one looks like this. It's kind of like you can't really even see the ankle monitor is down here, and then it's over here on the side. But it just, I don't know. What's your thoughts on this, Khadijah? And what's y'all thoughts out there that's
Well,
listening? Did you see this? Was this offensive? Some people was offended by it. Some people say that's black culture, and we shouldn't be mad about this. So I was like, what? None of my brothers been to jail and been on ankle monitor, but okay.
that
Thoughts?
part. Unfortunately, there's always a little bit of truth in the joke. So even if this isn't real, it's still circulating. We're talking about it. So it's still putting the idea in there that as if ankle monitor is something to be that's funny, although it's very restrictive. It limits where you can go. If somebody can keep tabs on you, it's nothing fun to play with. You have to report to people. You have to be in somewhere by a certain time. You have to be somewhere by a certain time. It really restricts your movement and your freedom. So I think it's just a sign of the times of getting people conditioned to think that this is normal play, just like play guns are normal play. My son never had a play gun growing up. The only thing he had was from Disneyland, was gray and green, and it was like a light that made the sounds and like a Star Wars some stuff. He never had play guns, not even except for maybe a water gun, and that was like a Nerf water gun. It was nothing that looked like a little pistol. Sometimes we give our children things that we think are funny. Um, and this is the result of it. They grow up and they want to be on ankle monitors. You know what I'm saying? They think it's a joke, not knowing that that is imprisonment in your own home or imprisonment limits where you can go. So yeah, it's truth in all jokes. Truth in all jokes. So it's some truth to this.
Yeah, I see this and I was like, this is interesting. I don't know if I would ever buy a kid something like this. I mean, not ever.
Absolutely
I
not.
would never. I don't think that's something that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. The few people who I have known, and these were students that were on ankle monitor, they didn't like it. Some of them cut it off and then got in big trouble. Like I don't even know people who wear ankle monitor but think that that's something to aspire to. Like they didn't necessarily want to even be on it. They tried to cover it up like under their pants. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Elisa said,
Yeah.
I
At
would
least I would
never
never
buy
buy this
this
for
for
myself.
my son. Me either. But I can tell you this,
I just
there
thought,
is a culture right now where being locked up, selling dope, getting PUSSY, making money, doing a bid, being on ankle monitor, shooting somebody, all of that is something some people aspire to be. Listen to the music. Not people that you and I necessarily know, but some people get on ankle monitor and it's like a bragging right. Like they're, like that's nothing to be proud of. You should be embarrassed, like you said, your girls weren't covered up. But unfortunately, if you're looking at the music, you're looking at the culture of people if you look at the BET Awards, so we talked about that back there. They're creating a culture, and there is a culture of people who think would probably think this is funny. Who are probably, I'm gonna get that for my son. He a little thug. Seriously, it's a lady out here. Elisa, you may know because that's probably your age group, although you don't act like her at all. But she has her son is probably like 2 or 3, and she gets him a lot of fake tattoos. The little boy has like faux locks that he looks like a rapper, but he's a kid. He's a kid, and she got millions of followers that promote this little baby being covered from tattoos from his head to his feet with lots of jewelry
see,
on. It's so some cultures would probably think, which is really sad, they would probably think this is funny. I probably
mm,
would, and that's sad.
yeah. She said she wouldn't even buy her
Yeah,
son buy him
the
toy
bunch. Me
guns.
either.
Good
Me
evening,
either.
Tina.
Good evening,
Oh
Tina.
my
OMG.
God,
Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm
yes.
talking about, right, Elisa? It's sickly. It's this baby. To me, the same way we look at men when we look at little girls and the moms kind of sexualize them, they have on wigs and eyelashes and capri, crop tops and all that. You know what I mean? It's like, let her dress like a child. To me, the mom is sexualizing her son. He never has a shirt on, always has his shirt off. Um, his hair is like a Florida rapper. I'm just saying that they have like the kind of paddle locks. Lots of jewelry, and it's just like, let this baby be a baby? Why are you dressing him up like that? While it is fake, it still has 6 million views. Thank you. Follow on the money will probably show you the creator, and it's most likely not a black person's idea. Thank you. I don't want to mispronounce your name.
Yeah. I'll say this. I don't know. I'm so past like the identity politics because black people do make up crazy shit too. So I'm not giving black
Hmm.
people that pass no more. Some of us do make up sickening stuff like this, and so do other people, right? But don't you'll be very surprised sometimes. Like I'm gonna tell you my aha moment when I stopped doing like black folks don't do shit like that is when Nelly people were on Nelly about when he did the video and the credit card was slid down the woman's behind
Butt cheeks.
and
Hmm.
it was actually a woman who suggested he do that. So there we were all mad at Nelly when the woman in the video, she the one who came up with the idea. Now I'm not trying to say
Hmm.
I know her mindset because I don't. I'm just saying we would have thought like a white record exec came up with it, but it was the black girl that was in the video came up with it.
Hmm.
So but I do agree with you saying. Yes, I came across her
Yes, I
page.
came across her page. She
Um,
dresses him like the man she wants to be with. Yeah, it's sickening to me. I know a lot of women my age that do
wow.
this. Oh Lord, that's sad. It's a Gracie.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
my
okay.
Ace
Good. Okay, I'm
book
not sure that is.
page.
Oh, okay.
Agreed. You know we
All
ain't
right.
all on the up and up. Yeah, right.
That's so true. And I'm not saying that, because I remember when at a certain high school in our area, somebody put on the fountain, black fountain, white fountain, and the white fountain where you put the little bottle on and it refills your bottle. And while everybody was saying it was racist, one of my homeboys said, I bet you somebody black put that up there, like as a
Mm,
joke. And when it
I
came
remember
down
that.
to it, that's exactly what happened. But we were real quick to make it because we got our own things from, our own things going on as it relates to things that we know that's been really racist to us, especially here in the U.S.
Hmm.
And but we said that like just kind of like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like we thought that's a white person, but it was a black person being like a joke. It was like she was trying to be humorous, but it was really
Hmm.
offensive. But she did. I think she didn't even understand like what that could have, because they didn't know who it was at first, and then
I'm
it
sure they
came
thought it
out,
was a white person.
who that was. I'm pretty sure they did, and I'm not taking up, and I'm just
Hmm.
saying like, ooh, these days you can never tell. Okay, so then we have this case here. A Bronx prosecutor, I'm gonna see if this is gonna play, has been allegedly caught trying to meet a 13-year-old boy. So this is a
Well, first,
Bronx
let me say
prosecutor
this.
who has
He's
go,
not just a
go
Bronx prosecutor. He works with endangered children. So he's supposed to be in there defending children who are being abused, who are in CPS, who needs representation and, being abused by their family members or the community. So he was caught in a sting meeting a 13-year-old boy. This is someone that people entrust their children with. So this is. But then in our
and he was
community,
black.
don't we know some people who work for organizations that have had allegations and stuff with minors, and we kind of turn a blind eye, or we don't show this part. So yeah, this is sickening, but not surprising. What are your thoughts, bro?
So I guess according to the New York Post, he's resigned. So 4 days
Well,
after,
of course.
um the group Dads Against Predators basically blasted this all over the place. And I like to know y'all thoughts because see, my thing is, had there had been like a white man or something, we'd been like, yeah, because I have a theory. There's a lot of things going on in our community, but I do have a theory. As much as we want to blame something on other folks, I think we have sick people that are in black culture as well. And when I say
Absolutely.
black culture, I'm using that very loosely because I'm not in culture with all black folks. I'm definitely not. I just I sometimes I get like now they're starting to feel like a real problem because everybody don't have the same moral stance that I have. I just, while I believe people have the right to exist, like for instance, I heard a lot of people say they don't want nobody with a felony to be president, but hell, most of y'all goddamn relative got felons. Like, what do you say to yourself getting back on his feet and he got a damn felon? If you came through the crack era, a lot of brothers have felons. Not all, but like we have to be very careful when we say certain language because our classism starts to show.
I think
Just
in
saying. But I think
2024
when it comes to
and
predator, I think it's
and
bad.
2025 that we are going to move further and further away from black culture and just about morality. It's not really going to matter if you're black or not. It's going to matter about if you have integrity, if you have morals, if you're upstanding, if you like right from wrong. It's no longer black and white. That's false. That's falsehood.
That's
It's going to
gone.
get down to morality. Who can you be safe around? Who can you grow with? Who shares your same way of thinking? Who shares your same sense of morals? It's past black and white. I think it's past that. And black people don't have any particular culture per se. You know what I mean? And this the prosecutor, Corey. Yes, yes, yes. Busted.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
think we're moving further and further
Yeah.
away from black and white. It's about morality, integrity, dignity, and wanting to grow. Some people are very comfortable right where they are. That's when you have generations, and I'm not going back to this, that are on Section 8, and it just passes on and keeps going. Nobody ever aspires. They talk about generational curses. That's a generational curse to rely on the government for decades. That's a generational curse. And so I think we're moving further and further away from black and white. It's about ethics, morals, and values. I agree, Corey. That's where it's going to be because there are some black people, and people can say, oh, y'all get on here every week and y'all hate black people. No, I'm black. I can never hate myself. I love black people. I hate niggas, though.
Yeah.
I hate people that always do wrong and want us to pretend like it's right or turn a blind eye or give an excuse or condone or blame slavery or blame. I'm tired of those type of people. And then some of them happen
Me
to be
too.
black, but I'm tired. I'm tired of it. So I agree. It's getting past black and white. It's more about morals, ethics, and values. I agree.
And I just feel like when I look at the industry of we talk about Megan Thee Stallion and Little Kim and Nicki Minaj and what's the other girl with her loud mouth self?
Cardi
Uh
B,
um
Sexy Red,
Cardi B. I'm sorry, I always mess up Sexy Red. But my thing is, who are the men that's going to see them do what they do?
that part.
We can't talk about morals and we have a whole culture that supports people like that. They are so concerned with how their penis is feeling and wanting to just freak all the time that they can't even open up a goddamn store or a bank. Because we need that more than we need some strippers. Let's
That
just be
part.
honest. But that's really sad that you would put more money behind that than you would, that's crazy. You see the comment,
It's
Khadijah?
between trifling and not trifling, but this world we live in is stuck in systematic racism built in that human construct.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
look, you know what? I
good
ain't
opinion.
disagreeing with you, bro. I'm not disagreeing. Let me tell you what this I always have to tell people. This is where I kind of differ with some black people. To me, racism
Excuse
in
me.
America is like paying your taxes. Like I mean, say like it's so a part of the system.
It's a
And I
given.
come from a people, yeah, who knew that it was a given, and we could never use it as an excuse why we couldn't deliver our goods. Growing up, that's why we were very responsible. We didn't have children. I mean, there's certain things that we chose to wait on until the time was right, and when we could afford to take care of who we have. So, what do you say to the people who figured that part out? Because my mom said, "You don't want to hear nothing about no racism when we know better." That's like when people are sick, then we all get to be sick. No, absolutely not. I don't, like
Mhm.
I just feel like we got to get past that systematic racism thing because our ancestors been dealing with that shit for years and still managed to build towns and still managed to, to I just remember them 70s so vividly seeing black people pulling for each other and helping each other. But I think those days are long gone because they did that during a time where they all believed somewhat in the same things morally, valuably. You know what I mean? Oh, I get you, bro. I'm just saying, but I just feel like I can't even afford to even use that because sometimes instead of us saying, I like it when I'm talking about certain things and people be like, yes, sis, I did that. That's because I wanted to do that. Never once said, oh, I did that because we
Mhm.
didn't have food. They was like, no, I did that shit, show did. And I said, I can respect the person that can tell you the damn honest truth. Go ahead,
Mhm.
sis.
I just had a convo with someone whose friend got arrested for pimping and pandering, and his worker was of age, but her little sister, who was underage, would be with him and wanted to be a part of that life, and he got caught up with them both. I was told that this isn't a pedo. Yes. In my eyes, he is. Why do we give out people passes because we know them? Yeah, he's definitely a pedophile. Most
Okay.
definitely. He was grooming the younger one. She would have eventually been out there. He was just grooming her, getting her ready, letting her see the life. She was eventually going to be doing exactly what her older sister was doing. Make no nothing, make no excuse about that. In the backup, when the brother was talking about, I agree with him. Systematic racism, for me, of course, there are systems set in place to keep you further behind. But
Always.
once you know about them and you are aware, you know how to maneuver and do things differently. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying you have diabetes and you know if you eat sugar, rice, and flour and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna be sick because you do differently. We know there's systematic racism, and I agree with you, but we can't use it as an excuse to just bow down and say that's okay. And yes, the towns were burnt down, but those towns have been burnt, torn, and burnt down. And why haven't we rebuilt them? It's enough black people out here, educated, laborers, all kinds. They should have been built back up right now. We like behind in the times or something. Um, Racist is the
Yeah.
elephant in the room.
I
Yeah.
think about yeah.
But an
I
elephant
think
in the
about
room
all
to me,
the
I
drug
looked at that
dealers.
term differently. Elephant big as shit. You can't miss it. You know what I mean? So you gotta just get around it and get out the way. It's there. It's not like having a mouse in the room and it's in the corner cowering and you can't see it. It's right in your face.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, I
my thoughts on that,
remember
at
in the
least he's a
drug
pedophile.
game. Yeah, I remember in the drug game. Every time they arrested a drug dealer, 20 of them was in his place.
Hmm.
Ain't that kind of like rebuilding? Somebody get knocked off and 20 people are standing in this place. Why do we do that on things that we know are morally wrong, but don't do that for shit that we know is morally right?
Hmm.
It almost makes me think of as much as we want to blame corruption on people who came into a country and set up systems, you do not have to participate.
Sure don't.
You just don't have to participate. I'm not trying to be funny, but I get it. I swear to God, anybody know me, I understand racism, but I can't afford to like hang nothing on that. Absolutely nothing. And in terms of this dude here, the deeper thing for me is how your friend don't see this fool as a pedophile. That's the big problem we
Hmm.
have in our community. That's why some girls are so over sexualized. That's why we have a whole bunch of women thinking sliding down the pole, being half naked, talking about booty holes being brown. That because we have a whole culture of people who look like them who support that, and
Hmm.
that's what we don't want to talk about. Otherwise, that wouldn't even be an idea. Right on,
Rebuilding is going
right
to
on.
take
I
a
get that.
revolution, Africa town.
Right on, right on. And I'm not sure if you're in the US, but some of us don't even see ourselves as African. I see myself as both black
Hmm.
and African. I'm so okay with that. Um, this is the prospect of opportunity for sure. Oh yeah, but he also was a pedophile with a good
He's a
job,
pedophile. Exactly.
and he got into a field where he knew people would be desperate.
I was about to
Ain't that
say
deep?
he has the keys to the kingdom of trauma. People with trauma are always looking for a way out or somebody to help or something. He had like the keys to the kingdom of trauma. Endangered children? Like that's horrible.
That's
So
messed
he's
up.
not only opportunistic is making that sound too pretty. You know what I mean? To me, he's not an opportunist. He's a pedophile. He's a predator. He's not opportunistic,
Yeah,
meaning the president or CEO of Apple's going to be somewhere and you have something you want to picture. You meet him at Star, but yeah, like you know him. No, that's opportunistic. This is predatorial. This is predatorial.
and
Opportunistic sounds
right
too
on. And
pretty,
I also
in
think
my opinion.
I was about to say, I was getting ready to say, we got to start calling things what they are for real. Like we got to stop dressing up when somebody that's black do something that's bad. We got to stop dressing it up. That's why I feel like it's hard to build anything with black people because first of all, we don't believe in safety. We abuse the shit out of each other and call it, well, that's well, they've been through something. No, you don't get to go through that with me. I'm not gonna front. I'm one of those people. I kind of do believe in law and order because somebody has to protect us all. I'm not saying this. There's bad teachers. There's bad cops. There's bad tax people. There's bad every goddamn thing. Bad hairdressers. Yeah, I don't know how long they survive, but I'm just saying. So there's bad everywhere. My thing is there has to be law and order, and I feel like if you do something wrong, you need to go
I
to
got you.
jail. You need to be beat the hell down. No, I'm serious. I think that we got to stop dressing stuff up. Blackness cannot be an order of protection when you're wrong. Like it can't. We
Mm.
always want to protect, and I always
That
think like
can't
we
be a
got to teach
savior.
black men how to control their sexual urges. Like no, dude, you're wrong. We act like when men take shit. Well, if it's a black man, well, what he meant to do. No, the fool is a rapist. The fool is a pedophile. The fool, we have to like call things what they are. Because I don't want to be connected to people who can't do justice. I don't. I'm not talking
And
about justice when
also,
a white cop kills somebody. I can't do it.
I'm I'll read this comment, then I go coming into these conversations without being
Okay.
known as hard. I come with no intention of sugarcoat. Oh no, I don't want you to sugarcoat. No, no, no. Be yourself, please. We welcome all forms of communication.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely, dialogue. But I was going to say, and being black cannot be an escape card or a get out of jail free card, because sometimes we use being
Yeah.
black as a reason to not call people out on their shit or not to hold people accountable because they black. It's like Elisa said, people can't doesn't see that person as a pedophile because that's somebody's brother or that's their nephew or their son. So we don't see it in them. You know what I mean? So being black cannot be a get out of jail free card. It cannot be a pass card or a reverse. I'm talking about Uno. It can't be none of that. It got to be what it is. Blackness is not
No,
a
that's right on.
disability. I got
That's
that.
right
Yeah,
on.
it's not. It's not a disability, nor is it an excuse to do bad things. Because sometimes people always use being black and racism and slavery as a reason to condone or justify wrongdoing and mayhem and not right things. We use that as well, it's hard being black. Okay. You're not the first person to experience it hard being black. We don't have it nowhere near as hard as our ancestors had it. Y'all better look at history, look at the documentaries. We not enslaved. We're not in the field all day picking cotton. We're not coming home with nothing to eat. We're not being torn apart from our families. So being black, it cannot be an excuse to do wrong. It's just it doesn't give you an out, doesn't give you a pass. Elisa says facts.
I know one thing. Watching these Olympics, I think black is somewhat dominant because
Hell
black folks
yeah.
is all over the world, like Africa, London, Jamaica, of course, U.S. We out
Norway.
there bringing in half those medals. Yeah, so we know that black could be dominant, but I just feel like we gotta like make sure we understand that when you do things that's not cool, there has to be a consequence to it. And it just feels like in some of our black communities, this is my theory on why I think people move away from us sometimes. Because we like that person don't like themselves. No, they probably want to be
Mhm.
safe. Like, let's be honest. Today we went to a store. There was a black man, able-bodied man, sitting on the side of the damn curb, and he really like tried to get our attention. And I act like I didn't see him. It's like, what makes you think I'm gonna stop and give you my
He
hard-earned
he
money?
even
Like that's
he even shook his cup so his coins could rattle. Oh
no,
God.
that's I just felt I always felt so offended. He didn't even try to like let me wash your car. Let me at least act like I'm working. He just kind of sat there. But the way he eyed us, I didn't see him do that to the white people.
Mm-mm.
So
He
you
knew they
don't get
wouldn't
to
give
do
him no
that to
shit.
me, sir. Absolutely not. So I act like I didn't see him. Then he finally said hi, and I said, "How you doing?" and walked in the store. But no, I wasn't. No, I don't even feel right giving people like that money. I just don't. I think
Mm,
if you're an able-bodied person, you gotta at least be of service. One man was out there washing people's windows. I had to respect that. And somebody gave him a couple of dollars, but at least he being a service. I feel like there's something wrong when you feel like you don't have to do anything to earn your money when I had to earn the money that I'm spending.
that part.
You feel me? Some comments, Khadijah.
Slavery has only manifested into something different. It's just slavery by a different name. It may be a different name. We ain't picking no goddamn
But it
cotton.
ain't slavery.
That's
It ain't
that's not the
slavery.
same
My,
thing.
my
If
grandmother,
children are being removed from your
right?
home from CPS, you probably did some shit for your child to be removed. It's not where somebody say I'm selling your daughter and your son today. It's not where people can walk in your house and make you have sex with them. It's not when you getting whipped across your back for just being you. So it may be it may be different. And right now people like to say that incarceration is a modern day slavery. Some people
I
did things to get
absolutely.
their ass locked up to be behind bars. So we can't act like that's a modern day slavery. Yes, are people wrongfully convicted and given jail time? Absolutely. We know for a fact that happens.
Absolutely.
Do black people get tougher punishments? Absolutely. But they still got 3 meals a day. They still got a cot to sleep in. They still can talk to their family. They still can, so I can't give an excuse and say, and I agree, I don't want to say like I'm disagreeing every time you talk, but I just like to be really clear on where I stand when it comes to slavery is not whatever you call it slavery today is nothing that our ancestors on these American shores suffered through. Not at all. We have much opportunity. They had nothing. We have choices. They had none.
Yeah. And I also feel like this because my grandmother, our grandmother rather, is 98 years old, and she was a what y'all would call a migrant worker. She picked cotton, she was a vegetables and all that kind of stuff. She's from the deep south. And I just feel like someone told me once that my absolute worst day is better than my ancestors' best day. So I never want to compare something that they went through for real to the decisions and choices that I'm making. Like I feel like we got to
That
stop
part.
doing that because it really is a sign of being disrespectful to your ancestors and your elders because we never see the days that they've seen, not ever. They couldn't get unemployment. They don't have no job. They
That
couldn't go
part.
get welfare. See, I don't know what y'all was told, but they didn't get any of that. If you were a domestic worker or you worked on the railroads, or most of those jobs at the time black people had, you could not get unemployment. That's why people went and look for the next job. Is that our experience? When you don't have a job, you don't collect unemployment or disability because they weren't allowed to do that. So we have to be very different and try to compare where we are now to where they've been. We have been through none of that.
Mm-mm.
We just haven't. We have never like as a just I don't know. I just feel like we got to do a better job and not kind of acting like our reality is their reality because it's nowhere near it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Um, to be fair. And I agree with that. I agree things
Yeah,
have
me
to be
too.
fair and equitable, but I don't know how you get that though when you break the law. Because when somebody do something to you, you be like, do I punch their ass in the face or do I punch them in the stomach? Which one will be fair and equitable? Do I shoot their fucking toe off or do I shoot their ear off? Like, how do we be fair and equitable? And I'm not. I'm a bit of a comedian. I am, but I just feel like when we come up with that shit, tell that to the person where the crime happened to, how they should be fair and equitable.
That part.
See, I feel like if we did toe for toe, a lot of us would be out here dead. Like if you kill somebody and immediately you get killed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we come up with this shit. I just don't know how we come up with this. And then we want to be fair and equitable. Was that person being fair and equitable when they did the crime they did? When we heard about this man who beat his 2-year-old um, girlfriend's son to death, what would be a fair, equitable punishment for this nigga? Do we beat his ass to death the way he beat the 2 year old? I mean, I don't understand how we come with fair and equitable on some crimes that's like, whew, I get
And
chills
I
thinking
think
about a grown man beating to death a 2 year
a
old.
2-year-old. Mm-hmm. To near death. And I think if we're
That
going to
has
talk,
to stop too.
and to be fair and equitable is almost like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Because what's fair to you may not be fair to me. You may think 3 months in jail is something I may think death. You know what I mean? So it depends on what your moral, what you consider fair and equitable. That's a very that's painting a picture with a very broad stroke.
Broad ass
Because
brush.
that can be what's
Yeah,
fair to
that's a
somebody
very
and
broad
equitable
brush.
may not be fair and equitable to me. Because somebody like I think pedophiles should have be immediately castrated. Have to put a chip in them so you know where they are at all times. We're talking about chips. We need to have a if they're not killed, if they're not murdered, or if they're not sentenced to death, but it should be a chip put in them and castrated so you can know where they are at all times. But see, people may
That
think
shit
that's
is crazy.
unfair
I'm
and not
sorry.
equitable. So it depends.
Yeah, I'll be happy to pray. I just feel like when I read that story about this man beating his baby to death, I just was like, uh,
Nearly the death. He didn't pass yet. Thank
I
God. I
don't
hope
even
he
know
can
what to
hold
put
on.
this in. Yeah, I just my it just made me sad. That's all. Tell us
Yeah.
about this passage. We love church. It's
So
Sunday.
this is Pastor Keon Henderson. He's married to Shawnee O'Neal, the creator of Basketball Wives, who has many franchises, who has a lot of money, based off of the defects and stupid shit that black women do. But he's asking his church members to donate 4.4 million. He's asking 2,100 people to donate $2,100. Now, this would be my thing, y'all. This is my question, and I don't belong to any church. I'll go visit. I don't care. Don't they get money every week in tithes? And don't they have a benevolent fund? Don't they have so where is that money at before the church burned? Because the money would have been in the bank. So, but to ask your congregation for $2,100 when gas is high, food is high, living conditions is high as far as rent, utilities have increased. Is this pimping?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
I
I
think
think
it
that's, and then
is.
you're married to
I
Shawnee
don't know how the
O'Neal, who is a millionaire 10 times over. That's crazy for me for him to be asking
former wife
2,100 members to
will.
donate $2,100. That is pimping at his guy. That's pimping on the pulpit. Fuck what y'all talking about. That's crazy. That's
The
wow.
number the
This is
number here
definitely
is
pimping. LOL.
21.
Some churches don't do benevolence anymore. He got Alicia. Yeah, I got you. Maybe they don't. I ain't been to church. I'm telling you, I don't be knowing. But he is a mega church. He's broadcasted. He has YouTube views. He gets YouTube money. He gets Instagram money. His sermon goes across all social media outlets, and he gets money from that. That is pimping. I don't give a shit what y'all talking about. Hey, that's pimping. But you know
I don't
what? Go
care
ahead,
what you
Pastor.
heard about me. You hear me? Don't know what you heard about me,
Oh, that part.
but I'm a
That's
PI.
pimping. PIMP. I got
Oh
you.
Lord
Well, Alicia, that's how
Jesus.
long I ain't been
Oh
in church like as going all the time because I remember the benevolent fund. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, it is straight pimping. He's married to Shawnee O'Neal. She got Basketball Wives LA, Basketball Wives Miami, Basketball Wives All Stars. She's they got money. Most of our churches ask for extra money and don't care, right? He has been in the media before too for some foolishness. Exactly. I know I'm not tripping. Peace. Hey, Javon Sugar
hey,
Shack Healing Farmer Market. I just think this
all right.
is,
So yeah, I don't know, y'all. I don't know about this.
I ain't giving them
I
shit. I
just
wouldn't give them nothing. And what
would y'all
happens to the
give if y'all
tithe?
was at his church? Would y'all give? I don't
Absolutely
know.
not. Why does the church need to be rebuilt? I am late. Because if a tornado or hurricane or something destroyed it, Javon. And now he's asking 2,100 members to donate 2,100 apiece. So and he's
Yeah.
married to Shawnee O'Neal. They got long pockets. Long pot. Don't build a big ass church. What you need 4.4 million for? Like because it's like almost like a convention center that he preaches to every
Hey,
Sunday. So he got the money.
hey, y'all. I got to share this. Don't nobody just bust out laughing too hard. But this shit made me laugh.
At least I'm with you. The church don't got insurance. I said the same thing. We think too much alike.
Did y'all see this
Insurance.
woman in the hip hop in the
Excuse me,
hip
it's
hop
breakdancing.
Olympics breakdancing? Sorry, look at her moves, yo.
She like a damn fool. And the bottom of the screen is the lady that used to be in the 90s acting like she was teaching us hip hop. And so they're comparing them to. I thought this was absolutely hilarious when I seen her. She looked like something wrong with her. I
Stop,
don't know what the
y'all.
hell she doing. She looked like when you have a cut the breakdancing contest was a shit show. When she said you gotta hold your hands like I'm telling you that this stuff was hilarious. She looked like y'all know how, and I'm not saying nothing. You know how everybody has a cousin or something that maybe a little bit delayed or something. You know what I mean, or special needs, and they have them dance. That's what she reminds me of. Like, come show them what you could do. That's what she reminds me of. Kangaroo hop. This lady at the
How
bottom
did
is
she make
hilarious.
it to the
Yeah,
Olympics? Though?
she thought she
That's
was
what I
doing
don't
it.
understand.
At least it said I'm competing next time. That shit was horrible. I am competing next time,
I'm
right?
sorry. I thought that was
I'm
like a
sponsoring you,
comic
Elisa.
relief. I just thought I'm just
I,
I'm
I
done.
don't know about
Um,
y'all,
them
but I'm a
little
comment
comments be so
person.
ridiculous
So
though.
when I seen her break dance and I seen the clips, I immediately went to the comments. When I tell y'all I was on the
Why is she
floor,
standing on her head like
oh,
that? Uh,
who told her this was
Why she
break
open up her?
dancing?
Okay, I have a confession. I think some brothers that inspired her to do this shit.
I can't with you.
I think some black men say,
Can't.
"Girl, you could do this. You got this." You know what I'm saying? I'm saying I'm saying you got this. That's what I'm saying. I think some brothers, not all brothers, some brothers told her that she got this. That's what I think.
But the way she thought she was the shit though, exactly. That's what makes it so funny. She thinks she hitting it like I'm doing this. What the hell is that? This is hilarious. It cracks me up.
You, and black folks been chopping this shit up. Like we've
They
been
need
talking
to.
buku shit about that. I just thought that shit was utterly funny. All right, y'all. There's a little comic relief. Let me get to this next thing. How do y'all feel about this next policy I'm getting ready to post? And I do want to hear from all of y'all because I really feel like this is something that we need to really get your feelings about.
What
Go
does it
ahead,
say? Because it's
Khadijah.
small. I can't read it.
Oh,
Which one is this?
no cell phone policy. No cell phone policy.
I agree with it. I agree with it.
Okay.
I think it should be like
Okay.
a little box when you first come in the classroom. You have to put them all in there or something. Just in case kids got to get emergency or something, where they shooting up schools and shit. But think that's a good thing. I think phones are distractions for a lot of our students in school. A huge distraction. I remember my son had posted something on Instagram while he was at school. I called and wanted on his ass. He was like, "Mom, we in the back though. We not. We it was something that happened. It was out of class. I didn't know it was passing period, but I went in. Like, no, put that damn phone away." So I think that's a good idea. I think people are too caught up in cell phones and it's a distraction. I agree with this rule what did Javon say? The way they are definitely problematic. Absolutely. It's just like how you go in court
Javon, you
and you
know
have to put your phone in the slot. I wouldn't do no slot. Somebody steal your shit, but right by the teacher's desk, and put your phone in there. You get this. They shouldn't have them in class. It's a distraction.
we know that's a problem from the road trip. And then kids
Mm.
up there looking on their cell phone because they can't like follow
No
the
socialization
comprehension of
skills
what's
either.
being shown. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, I just feel like I remember one time being at a certain school in Sacramento, and the parents called us to tell us that they was fighting downstairs. They was like,
Mm.
"Yo, they fighting out in the quad." That happened to me twice at two different schools, one in Elk Grove, one in Sac City. And the parents was telling us that the kids were out there fighting. I was like, "God damn," you know.
I agree with that, but should have some amendments around emergency situations. That's what I said. Maybe have it where you can get to it, like it's not locked away. But yeah, I agree with that.
You know
Because
what
I do
kind of,
text my
and
son
I get
throughout the
that. I'm
day
not
just to
saying
check
that.
in with him when he's in school. I do. Sometimes I
Yeah,
just
but
text
I
him to check
also
in,
feel like
and I
when
know
shit
he'll see it
really,
on passing
when shit,
periods.
yeah, I feel like when shit really happened, do your kid really call you though? Especially if their ass was wrong, are they gonna call you first?
If you a trifling
Just
mama, they
saying. I
might.
don't know.
Just like back
They
in the
either go to the
day, if they need
office.
to talk
I
to their
agree with
mom, they need to go to the office. Yep. Yep. I
I,
agree.
I gotta agree with that. I just feel
Hmm.
like I said that no cell phone policy, and I was like, oh shit.
I don't think it should be in the class at all. Yeah, it should be. It shouldn't be cut off. Well, it's supposed to be cut off and in your backpack at the end of school, but that doesn't really happen. You know what I mean? But it definitely should not be in the classroom. Absolutely not. I agree with this rule.
Okay, so
Hmm.
that was one. But we also want, we love our people, so we definitely want to talk about some of the awesome stuff that's happening with our kids too. So check this out.
So, 80 Black children in Indianapolis became published authors through the Innovative Lead program. I am so pumped. Like, this is such an awesome story. Um, because Black kids do read. Black kids love books. Black kids are brilliant. They could be authors. They could be everything. So I thought this was a very awesome story to share because we do oftentimes talk about the trauma and the bad things in our community. This is something very great. So kudos to those 80 Black
Yeah.
children, and kudos to the teacher who thought up, who supported them, because there had to be somebody that was a part of the admin to help them, complete this stuff since it happened in school. So I think it's kudos. Awesome story.
I also feel like if we know our black children love reading, I hope that they will become adults who still want to read. Because some of the stuff I've been reading so much stuff over this past week about a lot of things, and I was like, is anybody really reading this shit?
Hmm.
Like, sometimes people make decisions for us, and they're not even considering these kids right here.
Mm-mm.
They'll throw a lot of money at kids who are like doing all kind of crazy stuff, but are we gonna put money behind a program like this lead program?
Mhm.
Like, that's just something to think about. I just feel like I would love to see more funding for programs that's going to help our kids be better, not after they've been in some traumatic ass event, but
Mhm.
I'm talking about everyday kids. How do we help them be excellent? How do we help them publish and change the world at the same time? Because I think they
Mhm.
do that. I think you can watch football and still write a book because a lot of them got on their
That part.
football jerseys, but they also got some books in their hand, which I think is so awesome. So Khadijah, I'm so glad you brought this story to my attention because I
Absolutely.
think that this is really really awesome. And I do know at the
And I
Stowe School there is a program called damn, I can't remember the name, 916 Inc. And they do that a lot. They help kids publish their
Mhm.
stories inside of a book at the end of the year. It's really incredible stories. But I feel like that should be something that should be at every campus we could think of.
Absolutely.
Like there's something about reading your work in a book. That's incredible.
That part. And I want to give a shout out to Escape Velocity, who is the baby of the late Dana Maish, because they do about a literacy, about keeping up literacy with Black children, and they do they read a different book each month. They talk about it. Usually, it's always Black centered books. So and I see they've been getting a lot of funding and help from the county, so I think that's great. But kudos to Escape Velocity. Because Dana was really hard about they had the Boys in the Hood book club, and they also have a Runaway Girls book club. My son was a part of it for I think 2 3 years, but it's an awesome program around literacy. So Escape Velocity, shout out to them. We do have one local if y'all are local in SAC, and they also do Zooms. You don't even have to be in SAC. They'll mail the book to you, and you get all the stuff they have in there. But it is Escape Velocity by the late Dana Maish, now being ran by Felicia Armelian and Shakiri, Dana's sister. So I just wanted to shout that out because we do have literacy programs here, you guys. That is really awesome.
Right on.
916 Inc. is
Right
dope.
on. Right on. So we got our sister midwife here making opening the first ever black owned birth center in Central Virginia, which is
Woo
on
woo.
that eastern seaboard. Now, this sister right here, I think is Rasha. I remember on one of our road trips, we went to her birth center. I think she had in LA. Javon, if you're still on, you can definitely tell me. But I remember we stopped at her birth center. I think we had maybe even spent the night at her birth center on the road trip. This is when we used to
That
have
is
two
so dope.
people. And she talked to our girls about that. And Javon also ran birth centers as well. But I think that's
Hmm.
important because you should have the option of having your baby, when your baby first arrival to this planet, to be in welcoming arms as your baby's coming out, not in a hostile environment. I mean, these are like black midwives who have been doing this kind of life changing work. You know what I mean? She was in LA and she was first in Oakland. I remember that. So when I seen this, I was like, I know this sister. Like
Mhm.
I'm so excited about her work. And I do think we need to really talk about midwifery. And for those of us who, get a chance to talk to young people as they start to continue to have children, that should be an option, if you can. Like, that's like being in control of your health, is how your baby comes onto the planet, who they first see, who's right there welcoming them onto the planet, you know? I think that's beautiful.
Mhm.
And I think she comes from a line of people who were midwives in her family. You know, this is needed everywhere.
Yeah,
Absolutely
absolutely. And I thought this was
is needed
so
everywhere. So I
dope
want to,
because I think it's really important, or I wish it's really important. It's also really beautiful for your child to come into the world into loving arms and not so sterile an environment, but somebody who really is happy that this black life is coming through. And I'm sure she don't work with just black people because we never do that. We all, I'm sure she loves babies. She probably delivers everybody's child. But I think it's absolutely beautiful for her to have went from California all the way to Virginia, Central Virginia. I think this is so awesome, and I agree with you, Elisa. It needs to be everywhere. And so, Javon, thank you because I know you a baby catcher. You right there when babies come out, and so I just thank you because a lot of people don't go into that field, and it's beautiful to see that it was something that a lot of our ancestors did anyway. They didn't go to school for it. They became midwives and delivered babies. So kudos to y'all that do that because that's absolutely beautiful. That's beautiful.
yeah. So here's her information, family. She's a fourth generation midwife turned
Mm,
entrepreneurial who founded this gathering, Grounded Midwifery. And then you can find her at that. And she's the first and only Black owned birth center in the state of Virginia. The newly opened
mm,
facility is designed to be a welcoming haven for expanding
that's beautiful.
families.
That
Now
is
that's what's up.
beautiful.
So y'all need to look her up and support the sister too, y'all. We need to get on a
Absolutely.
call about how we gonna help us. This to me is very important to healthcare. To me, because we get to pull
Especially with
another
the infant
lives.
mortality rate in black women who die when they giving birth. This is very important.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to make sure we covered everything.
And speaking
What
about
we have
support,
to
Rolanda,
break
tell
down.
us about your upcoming run for school board for trustee area 3. Tell us about that.
Oh, hold
Oh,
on.
Elisa, I'm
Sister
so
said she had a
sorry that
terrible
happened to
experience.
you. That's yeah, I'm so I had a horrible experience both times. I'm so sorry to hear that. So sorry.
And that's supposed to be such a beautiful time. Like, we should be happy when new life is coming. I don't know about y'all, but I get
Hmm.
excited when people be pregnant and
Me
having
too.
babies. And I'll be like, wow. Because it lets me know that life will still go on. And I feel like sometimes it don't always feel like that's what's happening, but that is really what's happening. You know what I mean? And I'm just very grateful. I'm just very, very grateful. So everything's going great with the campaign. Of course, I'm out here raising money because it takes money to do mailers and walk pieces. And so I'm out here now, like just really hitting the ground, like trying to get this money on. But god damn it, this shit is work. I'm not saying it's not work, but I'm just saying it's work. And so
Well,
that's kind of what I'm doing. Like I'm basically hitting the ground running. And I'm gonna real quick with y'all, if I can, I'm gonna share with you a piece that Sister Mariana helped me to do. Let me see if I can get this to come up.
awesome.
So bear with a sister here. Hold on, let me see. Is this the right volunteer one? Your time. There's nothing like volunteering your time. That's like probably the most important thing. The second thing you do is make one of the ways you can support me in this bid for this seat that I'm gonna be there for your children is that you can help me in one of three ways. So you can do all three, right? So you can either can volunteer your time. There's nothing like volunteering your time. That's like probably the most important thing. The second thing you can do is make a cash donation, or you can donate online, right? So we know that money helps us to get where we're going. And then the third thing you can do is that you can endorse me. I need all endorsements. I need your endorsement the most because you're going to be in that seat with me when I get to be a board trustee for Sacramento City Unified School District. You can support me during this campaign race. Volunteer your time. You can make a So there it
I
is, y'all.
love
Hold on.
it.
I'm
And
gonna
you look
try to
pretty
see.
and you're white. I have a question for
Thank
you.
you.
When you say you can
Yes.
endorse me, what does endorsing you entail, and what does that mean for those that are not a part of the political world and understand what endorsement means?
Right. So endorsement is when you tell somebody, like, hey, I basically give them my thumbs up that this person would be good. Support this person. There's if you go to my website, there is a paragraph, a little piece where you can endorse me on there. You can write your comments in there. I've had a lot of people endorse me. I've had teachers, young people, former people I work with. I've had some school board members, county members. Like, like I'm getting them from everywhere. The person that I am running against, he works for I think the tax franchise board or something like that. And so he's a union member. I am not a union person. I never had a job where I had to have a union, right? The truth of the matter, I'm pretty fair to people that I hire. So I don't have to like need somebody to come fight for me. My mother was in the union, so I understand the importance of unions. But my campaign is about children first. I just think like our children, like I do understand that people who are in unions or just teachers, period, they deserve to be protected, respected, and treated right. So I never had a problem with that. But I just also believe that we have to. I don't think our kids are being prepared enough to be out in this world and be in the world. And so that is something that I'm really strong about that. I'm very, very, very strong about making sure we put our kids first, not politics. Um, Anybody who really knows me know that I'm not a political person. I feel like, and I was explaining this to somebody, when I wanted to do things, I either paid for it out of my pocket or I went to my community and say, hey, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. Can you help me with that? So I did a lot of that kind of stuff. I don't have time to convince somebody that this is a good idea to save our children. So me running for this school board seat is more like I want to be a part of the decision making process. I want to be one of those people that help us find the folks that can do the jobs that we need to have done. And I think we need to have parents more involved, and we need to have those community members who have done a really good job of helping our children. And sometimes we don't get to see those people at the table at all. And I feel like that's really a problem that we don't get to see those people because those people are probably some of the more qualified people. I think we have a lot of people
Mhm.
making decisions for people in our community that they don't even like or even yet know. So
Hmm.
why are you making these decisions for us when you don't even
Mm.
really like us like that?
It's deep.
So that's what I think. I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm running. And I'm getting a lot of help in terms of the word out and stuff like that. I just have to raise money. See, here's one thing when you're in a race like this, when you do your printing, it has to be from someone who is of union.
Mm.
And I'm like, huh? That's a kind of another way of like keeping people out to a degree. What if you're not in the
Mhm.
union? You mean your business you could, but then the unions would be coming against you. And I just feel like
Mm.
that just somehow I get them making sure union people have jobs. I totally get it. But I also think there are a lot of people who are entrepreneurs and they're trying to get, their
Get
stuff
they
in
feet
too. They're
ground.
trying to run a
Mhm.
business. Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like um, I don't
Wow, I
know.
didn't know that.
I felt somewhere. And not in a bad way. I mean, I get it, but I just feel like how fair is that? I'll share with you all one more piece because I'm very proud of this piece here. Let me back this up.
Go ahead, let's do it.
Hold on. Running for this school board
Seat,
seat,
right? It's me,
hold on.
Sister Rolanda, running for this school board seat, right? Area 3, Sacramento City Unified School District. So I have a special endorsement. My sixth grade teacher, Miss Winnie Bender, has
Woot
endorsed.
woot.
Look here, y'all. She's an elder. She's like in her 80s now, but she was right there, the first one to jump on board. She impacted my life so much. She was my teacher back in 83. So, one of the reasons why I do the work that I do, one of the reasons why I'm running for the school board, it was because of teachers like Miss Winnie Bender. So, I need y'all to support me just like Winnie Bender.
Love it. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. And I just want to say, Sissy, I'm super proud of you. I know I tell you this offline, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it on this live. And not to get into your business, but with all that you have to endure and encounter, each week, particularly Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you know what I'm talking about. For you to have to do things
Uh-huh.
like that and still be out here fighting for it, taking up your time and taking up your life when you could be doing other things to run for school board to make it better for students because you really are about your kids. I don't know if over the summer, y'all, her kids have been texting her all the time because they're not in session. They've been texting her, checking on her, just want to share some stuff with her. This going on with me, Miss Rowe. So people don't know the impact that you have on the young people that you work with. And I want to say I am super proud of you for sticking your neck out and also stepping out on something that you're unfamiliar with to do something that's going to benefit and affect people long, 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 long time into the future if you were to get this position. So I am super, super proud of you. Keep pushing. I love both the videos. And keep going, sis. I'm super proud of you with all that you have to endure every day. You doing your damn thing, and I'm proud of you. Sugar Shack said, right? Put the other comments up. 'Cause I didn't see
Right.
them. And I only see Elisa
Oh,
comments for some
sorry.
reason. I don't see anybody else's comments. I have no idea why my phone be doing
Wow.
its own
Well,
thing, y'all. That
yeah,
is
yeah, I'll keep
wonderful.
going
It
now.
really is, Tina McClain. You look fantastic doing that video. Don't you look good, Javon? Me too.
I
Yeah,
tried.
I'm proud of you, Ro. And you know, and I'm not gonna go too far into detail, but my sis be really out here, y'all, trying to do what she can do while she's battling some shit that nobody knows anything about, but because she doesn't put it out there, she's just there to do the work. She's not there to get sympathy. She's not there to get empathy. She's not there to be recognized. She's not there to be told good job. She's not there to be told I see you. She does it because the need is there. And like Javon said, she's standing on business. So my hat's off to you. I am proud of you. If don't nobody else tell
Thank,
you, I appreciate you and thank you for doing what you do.
thank you. Thank you. You know, Khadijah, you know we come from a long line of people,
Hmm.
but I'm talking about the women now. I ain't trying to be funny. Women who stood their ground and did a lot of things to make sure we were okay growing up, even if it meant they didn't buy their own medicine, even if it meant that
Mm,
they died early. I mean, that's some shit right there. I'm not saying I wanted them to, but in their mind, they knew that we were going to see days that they would never see.
that part.
And so you have to be willing to sacrifice something so that the generations you'll never get to see will be okay. Because I feel like somewhere along the line, some of us have lost that.
Hmm.
I always go back to the crack era, and I think some of the stuff we got from our mom, other people couldn't get from their mom because maybe they were struggling or maybe they had their own shit. Not saying that my mama didn't have stuff, but for her, it was almost like she knew that when you have children, the name of the game is sacrifice, and you want them to have to be the best people that they can be because they had a good head start. And for some
Hmm.
reason, I feel like we don't ask those right questions. Like, how is this going to be better for our children? How can we support teachers like the Miss Winnie Benders, like the Miss Frank Withrows, like the Mrs. Hester Snyders, and I can go on and on,
Like the
like
Miss
the Miss
Rolanda
Carols.
Wilkins.
Yeah, but I mean, how can we support them so that they can continue to give what somebody gave to me when I was young?
Hmm.
I was very grateful for Mrs. Bender's endorsement. She was one of the first ones. And I'll tell you this quick story. I remember during the time of the crack era, Miss Bender was my sixth grade teacher. And I remember we had a young man who would come to class and he would be smelly
Mhm.
and he would be dirty. And I remember Miss Bender sending him off to the bathroom where he would wash up and she would give him a change of clothes. And then he would come back and learn, and she would take those clothes home. I learned later. And thank you, nephew. And she would wash those and bring those clothes back. And then he would be able to have something to switch back out onto if they were okay, if she washed them. That was not in her job description.
That
She
part.
did that because it was the right thing to do. But what I later found that as I got to know her as an adult, she did that because being a teacher was a calling. Her father was an educator and a principal, and her mother was a teacher. And she has like 12 brothers and sisters, and all of them are in some form of education. And and they're from the
Mhm.
South, they're from the deep South. And she said, when you went off to college, it was to come back and educate your people and to uplift your people. And I have this suspicion that a lot of Black people don't know anything about people like that. That's the
Mhm.
thing about us being. of the black people. It's not that we're just because we're both black, but there is something in that moral contract that we have with each other around this experience being a foundational black American that other people don't have and did not have to live through. And I was so grateful when I looked at those teachers who changed my life. It was the Mr. Frank Withrow who grew up in Washington, D.C., who mama went to the historical black university that's now closed. It was those Mr. Withrow who treated all of us like we were his children. He was my teacher. I was never late to his class. It was Miss Hester
That
Snyder
part.
who taught home economics and history in her class at Gady, which is now Rosa Parks, who really took
Mm-hmm.
time with us. And we had a young man in her class who wouldn't, he did not know how to read. And I remember Miss Hester Snyder taking her time with this young man, helping him to sound out the words. This was a young man who was the star athlete, but could not read. And I remember her saying to him so gently, but yet firm, young brother, young man, she would say, you got to read your paragraph. And the way she inspired him to read. So those are the teachers I know. I don't know all these other teachers. And I'm pretty sure they
That
had their
part.
strife because people didn't want necessarily having black teachers in the union. See, people forget these people gave me history, but they inspired me. That's why I'm wired this way. Not only that I had a good mom, but thank God I got sent off to school with people who understood who we were
That
as
part.
people. Never let me forget it. And that's why when I work with young people, I gotta give them the history. I gotta say, no, you don't get to just stand here in the bullshit. Absolutely not. Let me tell you who you really
That
are with
part.
your divine. Let me tell you all the bodies that are laid out in this pathway of yours. You definitely didn't get here because you're on a fluke. No, you got here because people sacrificed and laid their bodies down and their souls
That
down and
part.
their sacrifices. So no, you get to be the best you're gonna be. And it's my job to pass on to you, which was passed on to me. So
That part.
that's why I'm running for school board. That's why.
Go
I
ahead
mean,
and say
definitely for
that
the
then.
ancestors and definitely for the yet to be born and the
That's
young
a
people
snap.
and everybody. Right on, right on. You need to bring that energy back for real. I just
That
remember
part.
those teachers. Thank you. And I love about all of them. We sat down with Miss Hester Snyder, and she
Yeah.
was telling me just to show you how beautiful she was. She was
We're with her
telling
for
me that
hours.
movie, The Help. You remember that movie, The Help? She said my mama was,
Mm-hmm.
and then she some people were nasty as shit to her. She said when her mom could stop taking her to school, she was like, "You will never do this job.
Hmm.
You are going to college." That's why college was there. It wasn't like something you go off to like the 12th, the
To go
13th
stun on
grade, and then you
somebody.
get your degree and
Mm-hmm.
you don't do shit with it. Yeah, and to shit on other people. That's not why you were supposed to go to college if you got a right to go. You understand what I'm saying? That's not why. And so I
That
never
part.
forgot when she said that. When I asked her about the help, she said, "Oh, I hated that movie. Them women was mean
Mm-hmm.
as shit to my mama, mean as shit to me. Made it. We used to go help our mama clean when we used to take your kids to when you were a maid. But we look down at us. So when I hear this thing about black jobs, y'all say that like you looking down on those people.
Yeah,
There's
we know
still
what the
people
fuck
who
that
do that
mean.
kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's because I are a
Let's
doctor. Nobody give a damn.
that
Sorry, I
part.
got kind of messed up.
Let's no,
Oh,
you
no,
know
I'm
that's
Haitian.
okay, girl. Say
There's
your
a
thing.
lot
Say your thing. Go back and
of
let's get some of these comments in so we can read them out. What's some of those
okay, we're gonna
comments?
get
Well,
back.
I
I
am
go back
Haitian,
down
so
here.
there is that above the heroes. You doing your thing, Auntie.
Okay,
Beautiful.
beautiful.
We need to bring that energy back. Well, I am Haitian, so there is that the blood of heroes.
Then you
She
got that
didn't choose
right.
the school board. The school board chose her. Y'all see, you get on my last nerve. That's from a movie, y'all. That's my y'all scared crazy stuff.
I love my
But
question.
I think
But
this,
that's
yeah,
it. Can you
and
take
I
a
did.
chance to talk about
I so enjoyed the time with Miss Bender. It was just
yeah.
a good time. So informative, so much information because elders, we have old people on the planet. We know who they are. They just aged. And then we have elders. So it was so cool to spend
That's
time with
right.
an elder who was dropping science on us, dropping jewels on us, telling us about her experience,
Yes, she
talking
was.
about how the Woolworth counter when the white mob came and then it was just refreshing. We read about this in history books, but to sit down and have her share her experience with coming up in the face of white supremacy and bigots and racists and Ku Klux Klan. Um, I enjoyed all the time we spent with her. I truly, truly did. Um, well, shout out to Miss Bender. I think those videos are awesome. I think you need to start sharing them. Let's get it. Let's get it going. Yeah, serious crazy.
We
Javon, that's from Paul Blart. I didn't choose security. Security chose me because Londa has spoke somewhere, you guys, and she made the comment. It sounded just like Paul Blart, so he has not let that up. Um, but yeah, I think it's just and it's really good. I know Miss Bender feels good knowing because it was her calling and she wasn't looking for recognition or accolades. She was just being a good teacher. And so the impact that she had on you, I hope she feels
yeah,
good in knowing that you carried that legacy and you running with it. You know what I mean? Um, I hope she just
yeah,
felt proud. I remember we spoke at the SCOE graduation, and you said my teacher's here from elementary school, and she stood up. She was so proud. Like, look at my student. It was so cute, y'all. It was so freaking cute. But like, kudos. Like, that's to
yeah,
me, when people try to act like they are better than someone, to me, that's what a teacher is. That's what making an impact is making is a child that you taught and you're not even knowing the influence you had on them until years later. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Not your GPA. Now it's just that your calling in life is to try to be a Miss Bender to other people and then
That's right.
beyond. They say each generation should get better. You know what I mean? And so you're carrying the baton and you are trying to make each generation better. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's dope. I think that's dope.
No, no. I also think, Khadijah, like Miss Bender, Mr. Frank Withrow, blessed ancestor, Miss Hester Snyder, blessed ancestor.
Hmm.
I was able to go to her funeral and share some words. She was like 92 when she died. These are people who they straight up out of the history lesson. I mean, honestly, like I can say I
Hmm.
touch people. I have a grandmother who's 98, love her dearly. But I'm not even that close to her the way I am to these people. Because not
Hmm.
only were they history, they put it into motion. Like I can't explain it, but it's kind of like reading about people facing those times. And I get to talk to someone who faced that time, who
Hmm.
tells me to keep going, who tells me that when we talk about standing on the shoulders, I'm standing on their shoulders.
That part.
They absolutely lifted me up. They lifted me up. They looked at black children and loved on them when they knew they needed loving on. My thing with Miss Bender was, I think I was in her class one day acting a goddamn fool. And instead of her sending me to the office, she took my desk and put it next to her desk and she turned me to an assistant. Wipe down the boards, pass out paper, sharpen pencils, put these books back. Huh? And then after a week or so, she was like, I want you to go back to your seat and I want you to act like you got some sense because she knew that whatever I was doing, that really wasn't me.
Hmm.
But she had enough insight. She was a nurturer. She was a nurturer. She loved your babies. And I feel like when you're a teacher, you should be able to take a test to see if you even like goddamn kids. Because if you
That
don't
part.
like children, you really should not be a teacher. That's like the man that we showed earlier that was a pedophile and he became the prosecutor to help children that was in trouble. But that was him. He was basically hunting. He was a
Hmm.
hunter on our children. We don't need those type of people. We need people gonna work with our
So
babies
fuck
that's gonna
don't.
love on them. That's what we need. We don't need that other stuff. Absolutely not. So enough for me. Thank you, sis, for allowing me to share that. I would
Of
be remiss,
course.
and I also had a chance to honor Miss Hester Snyder. I honored Miss Winnie Bender. I honored Mr. Frank Withrow before those last two were left. They got their flowers from me, and me saying
That
before the
part.
world,
It's
I thank
important.
you for being our daddies when our daddies was out in the world doing God knows what the fuck. Mr. Withrow was
That
right
part.
there being our daddies at the damn school. So you never was late to his class because he would lock the door and then wrap your ass in the class about being late. It was the most embarrassing shit ever. I was never late to his class. Absolutely never. I was like, oh, can't skip second period. I got with the Withrow. Oh, I got typing. I can't do that. Click. I was in his class like 2 minutes before the bell ring. No, absolutely not skipping his class. You tripping. But he had that
Real
kind of
talk.
impact. So, all right, family, we gonna see y'all next week.
And I just want to say before we get up off of here, to all the parents on here, I don't care. Make sure y'all at y'all kids' school just to see who working with y'all kids. Seriously. I don't care if you gotta go up there for 10 minutes and stand at recess. Just get on them campuses and see who working with our kids. Because I got a call the other day about someone who is a campus supervisor, and this person's been trying to get at the kids and on their Instagram, complimenting them how they're beautiful and everything. Get up on them campuses, y'all, and get to know who working with our kids. I just want to end it on that note. I don't care if it's elementary school. I don't care if it's junior high. I don't care what it is. Just get up there and see,
I
because
agree.
we have as adults, we have a life experience that we can spot some shit that kids can't see, and they just think they're the cool campus supervisor, they're the cool gym teacher, he the cool history teacher, and we can see the shit that's not cool. So get up on these campuses, y'all, and see who working with our kids. It'll save a lot of heartache and trauma to our children. That's
Yeah.
it.
And
Thank y'all for
and I
tuning
was
in.
supposed
Oh,
to
go
add
ahead.
to
What y'all
that,
say?
Khadijah. I was to add to that and say, and be careful the way you talk about people who are predators. Don't make it safe for them. Because what you do, you make it
That
hard
part.
on your children to tell you the truth. Because we do a lot of protecting the predators in our community. We got to
Hmm.
stop that shit. Even when you talk about R. Kelly, I don't care how much you like his goddamn music. Quit acting like he cool in front of your fucking kids. Because you basically
That
giving them the
part.
message that, it's okay for you to be a predator and do all kind of shit to people because you like his music. We got to stop that shit.
Real
Like
talk.
for real. That's some
That's
morals
that
and whatnot.
exit.
That's why they feel so comfortable in our community. So anyway, that's the
Hmm.
diddle on to your shit. I'm right there with you. All right,
Straight up.
family.
Y'all make sure y'all do something special for yourself on purpose, because you deserve it. Thank y'all for tuning in with Sunday Sitting with Sisters, with Sister Rolanda Osunleke and with Sister Khadijah. Y'all be great and be safe. I holla.